A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore.
My dears, hello and welcome to this French vlog. In this video, we will spend a weekend together in a beautiful chateau, explore the French countryside with its charming farms, and buy some homemade cheese, visit two gorgeous villages from the official list of France's most beautiful ones. I will take you everywhere we go on this weekend getaway. I will share my thoughts about France after 5 years of living here as an immigrant, and I will tell you exactly how much our trip cost. If you're new here, hi, I'm Katya. On this channel I talk about my life, career and immigration experience. And this is my first travel vlog. If you like it, let me know in the comments below so that I can make more of this. Let's begin our journey. Hi guys, hello from sunny Paris. So we are heading to Normandy, which is a region in the north of France, and we will spend a weekend there. We love this tradition. Every month we take our dog Zephyr. Here is Zephyr. Say hi. And we rent a nice chateau, or not the entire chateau obviously, but the room in the chateau or in somewhere old house or like something which is very traditional and rustic. And we spend the weekend there and explore French countryside. It's around 3 p.m. on a Friday and there are already traffic jams in Paris. Everyone wants to trade the city for some fresh air. It will take us a couple of hours to reach the chateau, where we will meet with our friends who traveled all the way from London. Every time we go somewhere for a weekend, we rent a car. Owning a car in Paris is a total waste of money. In many cases, public transport is faster, as in most of the big cities, and Uber is relatively affordable. This time we decided to rent an electric car for the first time, but we totally failed to consider one important thing. Can you guess what it is? Watch until the end of this vlog to find out what happened. Okay, time for a pit stop. As always, I'm hungry. I need to grab something to eat. We are traveling on small roads today, no highways, so no gas stations to buy the usual junk food. Instead, we accidentally found a local supermarket. Let's go and check it out. Just look at this random store in the middle of nowhere. Tons of fresh fruits and vegetables. I think they have at least 15 types of tomatoes, maybe even more. That's the perks of traveling through an agricultural region. They also do ready-to-eat sets. That's smart, I'll take one. Zephyr adores carrots, this will make his day. And I also took a pain d'épices, that's a traditional sweet French bread with spices, a little gift for our friends. I came in for a bite and I literally bought a crate of food. France, what are you doing to me? Let's see how much I paid. The total cost of all of that was around 45 euros. The most expensive items were strawberries and nuts. I'm curious how much all of this costs in your city. I'd say in Paris it won't be cheaper for sure. Time for a picnic. After a couple of hours, we've reached our destination. I'm so excited to check out the chateau. Here we are. Our beautiful chateau in Normandy. This one is only a century old. Chateaux are relatively cheap to buy in France, by the way, but expensive to repair and run. On average, it takes twice the price of the purchase to renovate one. Are you thinking to buy a chateau? Here are a couple of examples of what you can buy today, what's on the market. So no one waited for us upon arrival, of course. We spent about 20 minutes trying to find a host. Why am I not surprised? I don't know. French service is something very special. I guess I've got used to it by now, so I won't complain here. Although, by the way, complaining would yet again be a very French thing to do. I can do a whole separate video of things that drive me crazy in France. Let me know in the comments if you are interested. Anyhow, I used this time to explore the chateau. Are you up for a small tour? So here is the living area. It has a lot of antiques inside, huge windows, the room basking in light, a non-functioning fireplace. I guess it was removed during the renovation or something. And of course, moldings. No reputable French house can survive without some. And this is the dining area. We will have dinner tonight here and a breakfast tomorrow. What's up with the Buddhas in every other French chateau? And finally, our room. The entire floor is ours for today. So here is the room. The room itself is tiny and it has a nice antique wardrobe and a great view. Just look at this. The bathroom is just outside the room and there are also some treats for us. How sweet. The 3 nights in this chateau cost us 510 euros, including an extra fee for the dog. I'd say it's a typical price you'd pay for a weekend stay in a French chateau outside of a major holiday season. What would this get you in your country? Let me know in the comments below. We will go and meet our friends now. We haven't seen them for a while, so I'm looking forward to catching up with them. See you tomorrow! Can you guess why Zephyr is so excited? Well, he saw cows. He's been staring at them for the last 15 minutes and growling quietly. Oh my sweet city dog, you have so much to learn still. Or does he maybe think that they are large dogs? Good morning from Normandy. We just woke up, it's about 8 a.m. and I already see that it's a beautiful day today. It's sunny, it's gonna be about plus 25 degrees Celsius, and after a long winter I'm so excited to go and explore French countryside today. We are pretty much in the middle of the agricultural area, so there are no cities, there are small cities like towns I would say, but no major cities or museums or any like cultural things to explore. But we will go to see some farms today and cheese production and cheese shop, and we'll just do a couple of hikes. I'm sure it's gonna be very nice. So guys, this is a typical French breakfast. You will see a lot of pastries here. So huge croissant and pain au raisin. Then some jams. And here are our friends. I'm filming a vlog. Are you ready? French love sweet breakfasts. In any hotel in France, you will find the choice of pastries and jams. We specifically called the chateau before arrival and asked for some eggs, salad, ham and cheese. Sweet French breakfasts break your summer body really fast. Talking about French breakfasts and French cuisine, when I just arrived, I was so shocked to see how fit and slim normally French people are, given the fact how many pastries they eat, croissant, pain au chocolat, pain au raisin, baguettes, and all those kind of things. And they also have pretty heavy dinners, about like 8 or 9 in the evening normally, and they eat like entrée, plat principal, like main dish, then dessert, and then maybe cheese as a dessert as well, on top of the normal dessert. So like the calorie math was not mathing for me. Then I realized that they have actually very healthy eating habits if you see how they distribute this food within the day. So first they eat like a cup of coffee and a croissant in the morning, maybe sometimes just a cup of coffee, frankly speaking, and the pastry will be something for weekends or for family gatherings and so on. Then they eat very light lunch, normally it's a salad or something like that, and then dinner is the dinner. But in terms of calorie intakes, it's not that bad. It's not that much, and also they never snack in between. If they had lunch at let's say normally it's 12:30, then they will not eat until 8 or 9 when they will have dinner. So they go into this fasting mode. When we arrived to France, 1 year before COVID, we went crazy trying all sorts of delicious French foods. We had croissants almost every day, Baguette was always present on our table. And then COVID hit. There was a total lockdown in France. We barely moved. We could only go outside for 1 hour per day, only in the radius of 1 kilometer, and only for a serious reason. Our new French diet and lack of movement ended badly. I gained 5 kilos and my husband Stas gained 15. It took us a couple of years to change our eating habits and get back into shape. Now I know for sure that 1 croissant per week is more than enough. Okay, off we go! Our first stop, a farm with a cheese store. And here it's cute guardian, just look at him. I guess he's trying to greet Zephyr in our car. Here is a typical French farm store. They have a limited selection of cheeses, only what's produced right here in this farm. A teenage girl meets us and recommends some of her favorites. When we asked her for a recommendation, she told us she doesn't even eat cheese anymore. This reminded me of a time when I was working in the chocolate business. Having sampled so much chocolate for work, at some point I couldn't simply stand it anymore.
How was fromagerie? Fromagerie.
Cheesy. We've seen so many of those places by now. They're all a bit similar. The food is great, but we've seen so many that it's a bit cheesy almost to go to a cheese store in France these days.
We bought some cheese called Tom. One is smoked,
Yeah.
one is just normal.
Cider. The other one is made with cider.
The other one with cider. And also some butter and some fromage blanc, which is like a cottage cheese.
Yeah, something between yogurt and a cottage cheese. You know the funny thing about cheese with cider? It's like, if you're really into cheese, if you're like a cheese insider, then you buy cheese in cider.
How do we find places like this cheese farm? First, we choose our destination. Usually for a weekend it's something close to Paris, not more than an hour and a half, 2 hours driving. We book our accommodation first and then start googling anything notable around. For example, we already know that this part of Normandy is a region of agriculture and farms. So we look on Google what's open on weekends, filter by ratings and reviews, put together a little schedule and make some reservations ahead of time. Et voilà! There is an official list of the most beautiful French villages. It is called Les plus beaux villages de France. I'm sorry for my French. We have planned to visit 2 of them this weekend, and we just arrived to the first one. It is called Gerberoy. Here is another cool thing about France. Wherever you go, you have fascinating history to explore. Next to this village, William the Conqueror fought his rebellious son and won. We stopped for lunch. You can easily wait for an hour for your food in a French countryside. The time just passes by differently here. And by the way, any French person outside of Paris will tell you that they think that Paris is the total opposite, way too fast. I ordered some snails and I have to say, they were delivered at a snail's pace. Have you ever tried snails? Let me know in the comments. The part of me which is already integrated into the French culture loves snails, but those were not the best ones I had. This village lunch cost us around 30 euros per person.
This is a very typical thing for many villages in France. This is a monument, in this case and in many other villages. It's an obelisk to those who died for France from this particular village, which is a very tiny village. We're talking about a few hundred people. You'll find it everywhere in France. I think what's special about it is that for France in particular, the First World War, 1914, 1918, was a much bigger trauma than the Second World War, which is not the case for many other places like Eastern Europe and many others.
Next stop is officially the highlight of our trip. We arrived to a farm where the 5th generation of the same family are still farming. They are growing apple trees and raising sheep. Again, the local guardians meet us. These are border collies, officially the most intelligent dog breed, by the way. They often work in farms and are great at herding livestock. Oh la la! Would you just look at this gorgeous house? Is it truly a farm or yet another chateau? Normandy is very famous for its apples, from which they produce everything from apple cider and calvados to vinegar and jams. Look at all these apples. You can only eat one variety, while the rest is used to produce cider. This farm plants 17 types of apples that all bloom at different time, so that they can harvest them in different phases. Very clever and efficient, by the way. The farmer gave us a tour in English, which was a very pleasant surprise. Not that many people speak decent English outside of Paris, and certainly not at farms. His story explained why. He grew up right here at this farm, but his farmer parents were wise enough to give him a choice of profession. So he chose to become an engineer. At the age of 30, he was working for a major oil company in the Middle East, and his career was booming. And yet, that's when he knew that he needed to step out of it and go back to his parents' farm and take it over. And now, a generation later, his son is quitting his career in finance to come work at the farm. I hugely respect them both. Farming is an incredibly demanding profession. You barely get weekends or holidays. Your animals just don't care for your vacation calendar. They need you around the clock. At this huge farm, there are only 5 full-time workers, including the farmer and his family. And this just blows my mind. This farm is 54 hectares large, and more than 1,000 sheep live here. And some of them just gave birth to their babies, and this is the cutest thing you will see today. And the farmer had to help dozens of sheep to give birth this season, by his own hands. Isn't that crazy? Who also went crazy at the farm? Zephyr, of course. He must have eaten at least a kilo of sheep poop. I was worried at the beginning, but then I just relaxed. At the end of the day, this is 100% organic poop from grass-fed sheep brought up at the cleanest farm I've ever seen in my entire life. What could go wrong? Zephyr is our first dog. Before we got him, we were worried about how it would affect our lifestyle. We love traveling, it's a big part of our lives. We feared that traveling with a dog would be very hard, but I wanted a dog so badly, so we decided we would figure it out on the go. While being a pet parent turned to be a way more challenging yet rewarding experience than I'd expected it to be, traveling turned out to be pretty easy. Every time we look for a place to stay, we check the Pets Allowed box on Booking.com or Airbnb. Surprisingly, there are many places, including historical ones, where dogs are accepted. I must say, France is quite dog-friendly, so Zephyr almost always joins us for travel overland. And if we must fly somewhere, we have several friends who are eager to dog-sit him for us. Anyhow, like so many of you, this farm has a side hustle, a very cute Airbnb guest house. Maybe we will come back one day. I'll put a link in the description of this video. And of course, every reputable farm sells its food. And this farm is no exception. We bought some homemade apple jam and vinegar. Unfortunately, their cider was out of stock. Just before leaving, we sat down for a chat in the farmer's garden and shared all kinds of stories. The farmer told us of the time his family house was occupied by the Nazis just after his grandfather died in the war, and how his grandmother protected the farm and the family car from them. And he was genuinely curious to learn our immigration stories. That was such a warm welcome. I'd love to come back to this place one day. Believe it or not, that's not the end of our day. It was time to walk off the calories in a hike. As we were parking our cars, it felt as if we were stepping into a movie scene. Just look at these blooming trees. I confess, I was not prepared for a real hike. I enjoyed it, but my brand new light-colored sneakers did not. But that was not the last surprise for the day. I'd thought our dinner place would be another modest local fare, but it turned out to be yet another beautiful chateau. To be honest, I was afraid they won't let us in, with my yoga pants and bits of sheep poop still visible on my shoes. As they say, the class comes from within and is not affected by some sheep poop. A suited maître d'hôtel let us in, and we enjoyed an amazing dinner in the special anti-sharing plates and had some deep conversations with our friends. Oof, what a day it was! And the weekend is not even over yet, so see you tomorrow! Welcome back! It's Sunday, and Sunday in the countryside means the Sunday market. This market is in another village on the same most beautiful French villages list, and it's called Léons-la-Forêt. It's so beautiful, and it's our third time here. Today in its main square you can find all sorts of foods, from cheese and dairy to fish and seafood. You can even buy oysters for 10 euros a dozen. Usually a friendly oyster salesman will give you an extra 13th oyster for free. This time we got 2 extra ones. Isn't that lovely? People from the surrounding villages come here to buy fresh food. One of my guilty pleasures is to people watch as the French enjoy themselves. No rush, no hustling, just being in the moment and relaxing with a cup of coffee. Or, more commonly, a glass of wine. I feel like I have something to learn from them. The entire village is blooming. This village of a couple hundred people even has a restaurant with a Michelin star. Ourselves and Zephyr have been there before, which was very kind of them. Normally dogs are not allowed in Michelin star restaurants. Food was quite ordinary though. This time we went to a different place for lunch and enjoyed it much more. Don't have to go ultra fancy to eat well in France. To close off the day, we hiked in a forest. Zephyr was so happy to run and explore. A word of caution: make sure you and your furry friend are protected against ticks and other harmful insects before a good hike. It's already Sunday evening. Time flies when you're having fun. It was a great weekend and we are heading to our last dinner, which will be in the hotel, in the Château. How did you like our trip?
I had the most wonderful companion and another companion. Both the 2-legged and the 4-legged one were amazing. Admittedly, the 4-legged one is pretty dirty by now, but that's a good thing. That means he had fun, he explored, and maybe, just maybe, some of the 2-legged ones are also a little bit dirty.
I really enjoyed our trip to Léons-la-Forêt. Like, it's third time we see this small beautiful village, but it's so nice to come back, especially when it's Sunday market. You see a lot of locals just buying food for the week, and we had a very nice dinner. Not dinner, lunch. Lunch was great. It was better than the one in the Michelin star.
You liked it more?
Yeah, I liked it more, definitely. So I will put the place somewhere so that you know if you come. As promised, here is the total cost breakdown for our weekend trip for 2 people for 3 nights. Accommodation with a dog fee, 510 euros. Breakfasts in the hotel, 90 euros. Lunches and dinners, 540 euros. The car, rent plus battery recharge, 550 euros. Food we bought to take home with us, 150 euros. In total, around 1,540 euros. Is this what you'd expect? Finally, about our electric car experience. Learn from our mistakes. We had zero experience with EVs before, and so we naively thought that we can just charge the car back to full battery the final night before driving back to Paris. But one night was not enough for a full charge on a home charger, so we had to pay an extra fee for missing battery percentage when we returned the car. If you ever take out the EV, charge it every night. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this video. I enjoyed telling you about our weekend trip. Did you like this video? Would you like to see some more of our French vlogs? Let me know in the comments below. See you soon, yours, Katya.